much does it cost to litigate in front of the Dubai courts? 2 seconds and we jump into this very practical video. Don't go anywhere. Hello everyone, my name is Maria Rubert, lawyer and arbitrator with a base in Dubai, in the UAE for the past 15 years. I am going to address a very practical information for all of you who are considering to litigate in front of the local courts. I am concentrating in Dubai courts, but the information that I'm going to go over today will apply to most litigations in the UAE, in national courts of the UAE. We have 7 Emirates: Abu Dhabi, Dubai, Ashman, Al Quwain, Sharjah, Fujairah, and Rak. Al Ain sounds like very big, but it's part of Abu Dhabi. Okay, so what do we need to think about when we are thinking about litigating? The most important expense will be the court's registration fee, the Dubai court's registration fee. Dubai courts has a flat 6% subject to a given cap depending on the claim amount of your case. So if you're claiming less than 500,000 dirhams, they will apply a 20,000 dirham cap. If your claim falls in between 500,000 and 1 million, they will apply a 30,000 cap. And if it's above the 1 million dirhams, then they will apply 40,000 cap. Yes, this for most civil and commercial cases. Now, for tenancy disputes, they apply a 3.5 subject to a 20,000 dirhams cap. The same as in employment disputes, they apply a 5% subject to a 20,000 cap. Now, going back to the regular cases, civil and commercial, what happens if you have to go to appeal? At the appeal level, they will divide by 2 the fees. And if you go to cassation, there is a 3,000 registration fee that you apply as deposit. Then there is a fixed 2,000, and then 1,000 if you want to stay the execution. Yes, this in terms of court fees. Usually, this is very easy or easier to anticipate. Why? Because when you go to a lawyer, they are gonna be telling you all of this. They are going to be telling you that you will be incurring translations if the documents are not in Arabic. Why? Because every single document that goes to UAE courts must be legalized by a translator registered with the Ministry of Justice. So it has to have a special stamp. And this will have a cost. No one is going to be able to tell you how much translation cost will be unless we are able to know all the documents that you are going to need through the process. It's possible, very likely, that we will know the documents that we would need for the claim. But once the other party responds, then we will have to prepare a submission, and usually this is when it's not possible to know from the very beginning the sort of documents and the sort of translation costs that you will have to bear. Yeah, this is for translation. What other fees can we think about? Legalizations. We need to present all the documents in front of the court translated. And some documents, if they originate abroad, when could this be applicable? This is applicable at the very beginning when the party filing the case is a company based abroad. They are going to ask for, to the very least, a certification from the registry where your company is based to be legalized. So this implies that it will need to follow certain steps at the country of origin. Why? Because the UAE is not part of the Hague Convention, so we need to do the political sort of legalization, which implies if you have a notary, you will need to go to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and then to the UAE Embassy abroad. And once the document hits the UAE, we will finalize the legalization with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in the UAE. At that point, we can translate, if it's not already translated, and use in the court. The same will be for the power of attorney that will be presented if the authorized signatory of that company is not in the UAE, is not based in the UAE, will need to be signed abroad and will need to follow the same legalization process. This is usually simple at the beginning, and we can anticipate most of the costs. But again, if something happens later on and a document needs to be submitted because it was issued by an authority abroad, it will need to be legalized. Then another out-of-pocket that we tend to see a lot in the UAE is expert fees. Why? Because the UAE courts rely heavily on experts. So let's say you have an employment dispute. Let's say that you have a construction dispute. Let's say that you have a case that involves the non-meeting of the obligations under the agreement. You had to do something, the other party had to do something and the other party didn't do it, yes? In that case, usually judges will transfer the case to an expert that knows about the subject. How much was it done? How much was it paid? To understand the obligations of the parties. So it does like a summary for the court. Probably they rely heavily on this figure because Dubai courts and extended UAE courts, national courts are very busy. So it's a way to get work done fast, but by relying on these independent experts that are appointed by the court. Their value, how much you will be paying these experts, varies on the claim amount, varies on the complexity. Usually are not as expensive, usually no, I would say that in most cases are not as expensive as you would expect if you were to hire those experts out of the court. And in many cases in the UAE, we require expert opinion before we are able to register the case. So in those cases, yes, you will have to cover the expense of the independent expert appointed by you, but it still needs to be independent. It cannot have any conflict with you or with your interest. And then you will also have to pay the court fee of the expert, of the court appointed expert. Yes, so usually the one that you will appoint will be more expensive, the one by the court will be less. These are fees that cannot be anticipated because in some cases the court will not refer the case to an expert, in others it will, and the cost of this expert entirely depends on the court's powers. Yeah. Then other fees that you can expect, I would say transportation, accommodation. This is usually, we see this more heavily in arbitration cases and not so much in UAE national courts, especially if you hire lawyers that are in the UAE. And also if physical presence is required in the authorities, you could expect also, this is very minor, transportations and accommodation if it requires overstay. Usually we don't see this unless it's international arbitration. Then administrative fees. Usually I like to, we could also name these administrative fees that I will be going over as court expenses. But I like to put it like this because we cannot anticipate from the very beginning. What happens when we need to notify a party? There are 3 stages of notification. Regular notification, so the document is tried to given to the registered address of that person. If it's not possible, then it will be done by investigation. So we will be requiring the authorities, the economic department, certain free zones, road transport authorities, Etisalat, to understand if they have any other registered address. If this is not successful, and in the event of doubt, we will go to the notification stage. It will be decided by the court, any event. So in the event of doubt whether it's properly done, the notification, they will go to the notification stage, which implies that the notice will be put in 2 newspapers, and then the counterparty, the defendant, all defendants will be deemed as duly notified, and the case will then start to the meat, yes, to the actual rights and obligations of the parties, or who is right or who is wrong. Until that moment, and it can take a few months, it will only be for the notification of this difficult party. So I hope that this is of assistance. Try to get as much information as possible from the very beginning so you can organize yourself and you don't get surprises later on. Be mindful that not all information will, you won't be able to be provided with a full list of adjusted costs because no one sees the future. And if someone gives you that cost, I would recommend that it's rounded up if you are asking for that cost. If not, they're going to tell you these are the registration fees, and stay aware of all this potential out of pocket that you could be facing. What happens if you win or you lose? If you win, you will probably recoup translations and court registration fees. Probably publication fees as well, but you will not be recouping legal fees. Legal fees is one of the big chunks of the expenses when you litigate in the UAE, but this you will know from the very beginning. What is customary in the UAE usually is you will have to pay amounts upfront. The system is not one that will entertain cases on pure success. Why? Because only registered attorneys with the ruler's court will be able to handle cases. So you will understand that it's heavy demand for barristers in the UAE. So they have a minimum threshold. It's not like in other parts of the world. We understand that anyone can handle cases and that the system works very well for execution. Here, the execution is based on the client's work as well, on your lawyer's work. The court doesn't press one button and has everything about the defendants. So you will need to also take many steps to execute. So this is why it's not simple. And after you win, if the monies are not there sitting in a bank account that you are aware of, we will need to fight a lot to get the money as well. So, but this being said, in any part of the world, I would say that fees should be reasonable, and I think the circumstances of the parties are always taken into account. So find the right lawyer for you that is able to be flexible with your circumstances as well. Justice needs to be made, and sometimes not having sufficient funds to meet it may leave you out. So there are many possibilities. Ensure that you inquire from different professionals to see, because I wouldn't be able to give you an average. The fees go very high or very low. There is no X fees or adjusted fees per cases as in other countries as well. So this will need to be done by you to get different fees from different experts. Yes, so I hope this video has helped you a little bit. If so, please do like, please do subscribe, please follow me on other social media to get to new information as soon as it is out. And please shoot me any question that can be turned into a general question that can be of help to other viewers, to other people in your safe situation. Thank you very much for your loyalty and for your time, and I look forward to interacting with all of you with your questions very soon. Thank you.